Most people think high blood pressure slowly creeps up with age, but that's not the real story. The real story is that your blood pressure changes every minute of the day, quietly reacting to things you do without even noticing. The glass of water you skip in the morning, the 5 hours of sleep you push through, the meals that spike your blood sugar, the stress you hold in your body without realizing it. All of these send signals that gently, silently push your pressure higher. And what might surprise you most is this: some of the biggest improvements in blood pressure come not from medication or strict programs, but from tiny habits that take less than a few minutes. These habits work through real biology, through your arteries, your gut, your hormones, and even your sunlight exposure. Most people have never heard how these systems actually control their pressure, or how simple it is to support them. Today, we're going to uncover those hidden mechanisms. And once you understand how they work, you will never think about blood pressure the same way again. In this video, we will break down 9 daily habits that gently bring blood pressure down and keep it down, not through quick fixes or strict routines, but through simple actions that work with your body instead of against it. These habits influence the most important systems controlling your blood pressure: your blood vessels, your nervous system, your metabolism, your minerals, your gut bacteria, and even the natural recovery that happens when you sleep. Some of these habits take just 30 seconds, others take a few minutes, but each one has been proven by research to help your arteries relax, lower inflammation, stabilize blood sugar, improve circulation, and reduce the internal pressure on your heart. And the best part is, you don't need expensive programs, special equipment, or extreme diets to benefit from them. You only need to understand how your body reacts to daily patterns you already have. As we go through these 9 habits, I'll explain the science in simple language, share real stories from patients who used these exact techniques, and help you see why your blood pressure may have been harder to control than you expected. Whether your readings are slightly elevated or you've been managing hypertension for years, these insights can give you a real path forward. By the end of this video, you'll have a clear, practical plan to protect your heart each day in a way that feels achievable and encouraging, not overwhelming. Let's get started. Because once you understand how your daily choices shape your blood pressure, you'll feel more in control of your health than ever before. Your cardiovascular system does something extraordinary for you every single night. While you sleep, it keeps working. Your heart never clocks out. Your kidneys never completely shut down. Your lungs never take a break. Even when you are lying still, dreaming, your body is performing thousands of invisible tasks to keep you alive. But because all of that work continues overnight, something else happens too. You become naturally dehydrated. You exhale water vapor. You lose fluid through your skin. You don't drink for 6 to 8 hours. And by the time you wake up, your blood is thicker, more concentrated, and harder for your heart to push through your arteries. That is why morning is the most dangerous time for heart attacks and strokes. Not because of age, not because of genetics, but because your cardiovascular system is under its highest pressure when you first wake up. And this is exactly why the simple act of drinking a glass of water right after waking is one of the most powerful, underrated habits for heart health. When you drink water in the morning, several things happen at once. Your blood becomes less viscous, making it easier to pump. Your kidneys receive the start signal to begin flushing out sodium. Your blood vessels relax as hydration levels improve. Oxygen delivery to your tissues becomes more efficient. Your heart experiences significantly less strain during a vulnerable time of day. This is not theory, it's physiology. I once treated a patient named Mark, a 58-year-old accountant who constantly woke up with blood pressure above 150/95. He assumed he needed stronger medication, but after reviewing his habits, I discovered he drank 0 water until late morning and had 2 cups of coffee before his first sip of water. We made a small experiment: 300 to 500 milliliters of water immediately after waking, coffee only after a 20 to 30 minute delay. After just 9 days, Mark's morning blood pressure dropped by almost 12 points. No new pills, no new diet, just water. Why such a big change? Because hydration affects every part of your cardiovascular system. Most people think water is just water, but water is the medium through which your body regulates blood volume, sodium balance, blood thickness, oxygen transport, digestion, and kidney function. If you want to level up this habit, you can. Add lemon for antioxidant support. Drink warm water to help relax blood vessels. Pair hydration with 3 deep breaths to stabilize your nervous system. And one more thing, drink water before coffee. Coffee is not the villain. For most people, caffeine does not cause chronic hypertension. But consuming caffeine while dehydrated can temporarily tighten blood vessels and spike cortisol. Drinking water first removes that pressure surge and prepares your system to handle caffeine more smoothly. This habit is free. It takes less than 30 seconds. And yet, it protects your arteries, kidneys, brain, and heart from early morning strain. If there is one ritual that delivers the highest return with the smallest effort, this is it. Your cardiovascular system thrives on movement. Not extreme workouts, not intense challenges. Movement. Your arteries are lined with a layer of cells called the endothelium. These cells aren't passive, they are sensors. They respond to changes in pressure, flow, oxygen, and hormones. When you move, blood flows faster, and the endothelium releases nitric oxide, a natural compound that relaxes your blood vessels. This means that every walk, every stretch, every bit of physical activity sends a biological message. Relax, open, let blood flow freely. And here is the part most people don't know. Movement works instantly. A single walk can lower your blood pressure for hours. Over time, those hours add up into long-term protection. But movement does even more. It improves insulin sensitivity, lowering blood sugar spikes that tighten arteries, reduces inflammation, supports healthy weight, strengthens the heart muscle, improves oxygen delivery, lowers cortisol, the stress hormone that raises pressure. You do not need a gym. You do not need athletic skill. What you need is consistency. Let me tell you about a woman named Helen, a grandmother in her late 60s. She believed exercise was only effective if it was intense. She took 2 long workout classes every week but sat most days for hours. Her blood pressure stayed stubbornly high. We changed one thing. Movement every day but low intensity. She began taking 10 to 15-minute walks after breakfast and after lunch. She stretched for 5 minutes while watching TV. She stood during phone calls. She walked in place during commercial breaks. Her total daily movement doubled, but her workouts stayed the same. After 6 weeks, her blood pressure dropped by nearly 15 points. Why? Because the biggest danger for the heart is not lack of intense exercise. It is long stretches of stillness. When you sit, blood pools in the legs, arteries stiffen, circulation slows, insulin rises, blood sugar spikes higher after meals. Your heart works harder with less efficiency. By interrupting these still periods, you protect your heart far more effectively than with occasional intense workouts. Think of daily movement as medicine doses. Small doses, delivered often, not all at once. Here is a simple formula. After you wake up, right-pointing arrow, stretch or walk 5 minutes. After each meal, right-pointing arrow, walk 10 minutes. Each hour, right-pointing arrow, stand or move 2 minutes. Before bed, right-pointing arrow, stretch 3 minutes. You can dance in your kitchen. You can walk your dog. You can walk circles inside your home. You can even march in place. Your arteries do not care how you move. They only care that you do. Breakfast does far more than give you energy. It sets the metabolic tone for your entire day, influencing your hormones, blood sugar, inflammation levels, and even your blood pressure. Your cardiovascular system is extremely sensitive to blood sugar swings, and the first meal you eat determines whether your blood pressure stays steady or fluctuates throughout the day. When you wake up, your body is in a mild fasting state. Cortisol is naturally higher in the morning, which means your body is more sensitive to glucose. If you skip breakfast or grab something sugary or processed, your blood sugar spikes very quickly. These spikes trigger a sharp increase in insulin, and insulin, often overlooked in discussions about blood pressure, has a very real effect on your arteries. Here's what insulin does. It signals your blood vessels to constrict. It increases sodium retention. It promotes fluid retention. It raises inflammation. Each of these effects can elevate blood pressure. This means one simple truth. A chaotic breakfast leads to a chaotic blood pressure pattern. But the opposite is also true. A stable, balanced breakfast leads to a stable blood pressure pattern. A heart-friendly breakfast contains 3 essential components. Fiber slows digestion, stabilizes blood sugar, supports gut health. Protein prevents blood sugar crashes, supports muscle and metabolism. Healthy fats reduce inflammation, support hormone balance, keep you full longer. Examples include oats with berries and nuts, whole grain toast with avocado, eggs with spinach or tomatoes, Greek yogurt with chia seeds, a smoothie with almond milk, spinach, banana, and flax seeds. These foods digest slowly, keeping your blood sugar from swinging wildly. When blood sugar stays steady, insulin stays steady, and blood pressure stays steadier as well. Let me share a story. I once worked with a 43-year-old woman named Emily. She had prediabetes and mild hypertension. She often skipped breakfast or grabbed a pastry and coffee on her way to work. By 10 a.m., she felt shaky and hungry. By noon, she was exhausted, craving something salty or sugary. We changed her morning routine. Instead of pastries, she ate oats, Greek yogurt, berries, almonds. Just this shift, no supplements, no harsh diet rules, helped regulate her energy, reduce cravings, and lower her blood pressure by 8 points within 6 weeks. Breakfast also affects cortisol, your stress hormone. A solid breakfast lowers morning cortisol, while skipping breakfast keeps cortisol high, and high cortisol equals higher blood pressure. Another benefit? Morning meals reduce the urge for overeating later. Late-day overeating forces the digestive system to work harder at night, raising nighttime blood pressure and interfering with sleep. Now, there's a common question I hear. Doctor, what if I'm not hungry in the morning? Not being hungry in the morning often means your metabolism is dysregulated from late-night eating or unstable blood sugar patterns. Eating a small, balanced breakfast, even if it's just yogurt and fruit, can retrain your metabolism. Another question. What about intermittent fasting? Intermittent fasting can work for some people, but many individuals with hypertension experience higher morning cortisol and blood pressure spikes when fasting. If you choose to fast, focus on high-quality meals when you do eat, and if your blood pressure tends to spike before lunch, fasting may not be ideal. The goal is not perfection. The goal is stability. If your breakfast helps stabilize your blood sugar, your hormones, your gut, and your energy, it will help stabilize your blood pressure too. Stress is one of the most overlooked causes of high blood pressure, mainly because most people don't feel it happening. You may think you're functioning normally, but inside your body, your stress hormones are tightening your blood vessels, speeding up your heart, and quietly raising your blood pressure without your awareness. Each time you feel overwhelmed, rushed, irritated, or worried, your adrenal glands release cortisol and adrenaline. These hormones prepare your body for danger, even if the danger is only a traffic jam or a stressful email. When this happens day after day, your blood vessels stay tighter than they should, your body holds on to extra sodium and fluid, and inflammation rises. Together, these create a steady upward push on your blood pressure. I once treated a patient named Chris, a 50-year-old engineer, whose numbers stayed high even though he exercised and ate well. He didn't think he was stressed, but he carried tension in his shoulders and breathed very shallowly. We introduced one simple change: 5 minutes of slow breathing each evening. Within 3 weeks, his blood pressure dropped by more than 10 points. Not because of a new diet or medication, but because his nervous system finally had room to relax. Slow breathing works because it signals the vagus nerve, your body's natural calming switch. When the vagus nerve activates, your heart rate slows, your blood vessels relax, and your body steps out of fight-or-flight mode. Deep breathing also lowers cortisol levels, supports better sleep, and helps your cardiovascular system reset. You don't need anything complicated. A short breathing routine, a few minutes of stretching, or simply closing your eyes and relaxing your shoulders can shift your body out of stress mode. Even pausing for a moment during the day to take a slow breath in and an even slower breath out helps soften the pressure inside your arteries. Stress management doesn't mean removing stress from your life. That's impossible. What it really means is teaching your body not to react so intensely. When your nervous system stays calmer, your blood pressure naturally follows. A calmer mind, a calmer body, and calmer arteries. That's the quiet formula many people overlook. One of the quietest contributors to high blood pressure isn't food or stress, it's sitting too long. When you sit for more than an hour without moving, circulation slows, blood begins to pool in your legs, and your blood vessels stiffen just a little. It doesn't feel dramatic, but inside your body, your heart is working harder to keep everything moving. Even if you exercise regularly, long periods of stillness during the day can still push your blood pressure upward. That's why many patients tell me, "Doctor, I walk every morning," yet their numbers stay high. And the reason is simple. The heart doesn't only respond to one burst of activity. It responds to what you do all day long. When you stay seated for too long, your muscles stop helping your blood return to the heart. Your insulin levels rise, your blood sugar goes up after meals, and your arteries become a little less flexible. All of those small reactions add up, especially when repeated day after day. I once worked with a man named Robert, a programmer who exercised faithfully every evening but sat nearly 9 hours straight during the day. His blood pressure barely improved no matter what he tried. We changed one thing. Every hour he stood up for a minute or two. Sometimes he stretched. Sometimes he walked to refill his water. Sometimes he just rolled his shoulders and breathed deeply. After a few weeks, his numbers finally began to move down. Short movement breaks may feel too simple to matter, but your cardiovascular system responds immediately. Each time you stand or stretch, your blood flow increases. Your vessels soften, oxygen delivery improves, your body uses glucose more efficiently, and your heart gets a little relief. If you work at a desk, set gentle reminders. Stand while taking phone calls. Walk a few steps during a break. Stretch your legs when you finish an email. These tiny resets, scattered throughout the day, protect your arteries far more than you realize. Your heart doesn't need perfection. It needs motion. Even small movements keep your body out of the stillness zone, where pressure quietly rises. So think of movement not as one workout, but as a series of gentle nudges throughout the day, telling your heart, "You're not alone, I'm helping you out." Most people grow up hearing that salt is the main cause of high blood pressure. But the real story is more nuanced. Our cardiovascular system doesn't just respond to sodium, it responds to the relationship between sodium, potassium, and magnesium. These minerals work together like a team, deciding how much fluid your body retains, how tight your blood vessels become, and how much pressure your heart needs to generate. Potassium plays the starring role. It helps your cells flush out extra sodium, reduces water retention, and relaxes the muscle inside your blood vessel walls. When potassium levels are low, something very common in modern diets, your body becomes more sensitive to sodium, even if you're not eating much salt. That's why people who eat more vegetables, fruits, and whole foods often have naturally healthier blood pressure. Their potassium intake supports their arteries from the inside out. Magnesium plays a quiet but equally important part. It calms the smooth muscles that line your arteries, helping them loosen instead of staying tight and rigid. Many adults don't get enough magnesium, especially those who rely heavily on processed foods. When magnesium levels are low, people may notice headaches, cramps, poor sleep, or just a sense of internal tension, and yes, higher blood pressure. I once worked with a man in his early 40s who struggled with stubborn blood pressure even though he exercised regularly. After reviewing his diet, we found he barely ate potassium-rich foods. His lunch was often a sandwich and chips, his dinner mostly protein and starch, and vegetables were an afterthought. We didn't change his entire diet, just added a serving of leafy greens, yogurt, or bananas each day. Within 6 weeks, his blood pressure dropped noticeably. His arteries were finally getting the minerals they needed to relax. It's a simple reminder. The body functions best when we nourish it with the elements it's built to use. You don't need exotic superfoods. Potassium and magnesium are found everywhere in nature. Bananas, potatoes, beans, lentils, avocados, yogurt, nuts, seeds, leafy greens, even certain fish. Just 1 or 2 servings a day can make a difference. Salt still matters, but not in the dramatic way people think. Most of the salt that causes problems doesn't come from the shaker. It comes from processed foods, fast foods, packaged snacks, and restaurant meals. When you eat real, whole foods, your sodium intake naturally balances with potassium, and the pressure inside your arteries begins to shift in a healthier direction. Think of potassium, magnesium, and sodium as 3 musicians. When they play in harmony, your heart works smoothly. When one is missing or overpowering, the system loses its rhythm. Helping your body regain that balance is one of the simplest, most natural ways to support healthy blood pressure. In the last few years, research has revealed something surprising. Your gut has a direct connection to your blood pressure. Most people think of digestion as a separate system, but in reality, your gut communicates constantly with your immune system, your hormones, and even your blood vessels. And the tiny microbes living inside your intestines, trillions of them, play a much larger role than we ever imagined. When your gut is healthy and diverse, it produces compounds that relax blood vessels, reduce inflammation, and support better metabolic health. But when the gut becomes imbalanced, something we call dysbiosis, the opposite happens. Inflammation rises. Your body becomes more sensitive to stress, insulin levels increase, and your blood pressure becomes more difficult to control. Several large studies, including research involving twins, found that people with high blood pressure consistently share certain gut patterns, fewer beneficial bacteria, and more inflammatory species. These microbes influence how your kidneys manage sodium, how your blood vessels react to stress hormones, and even how well your body produces nitric oxide, the natural chemical that helps arteries relax. This explains why 2 people with similar diets and lifestyles can have very different blood pressure levels. The difference may be happening in their gut. The good news is that your gut responds quickly to small changes. Fiber-rich foods, like vegetables, berries, beans, oats, and whole grains, feed beneficial bacteria. Fermented foods like yogurt, kefir, sauerkraut, kimchi, and miso introduce healthy microbes directly into your system. And prebiotic foods like garlic, onions, bananas, and asparagus help those good bacteria grow. I once treated a patient named Laura, a 45-year-old nurse who had struggled with elevated blood pressure despite eating fairly well. Her meals were healthy, but she often skipped fiber and rarely ate fermented foods. We added simple habits: a cup of yogurt with berries, more vegetables at dinner, and a probiotic-rich food 3 times a week. 6 weeks later, she felt less bloated, had more consistent energy, and her blood pressure dropped by several points. Improving gut health doesn't require strict dieting. You just need variety. Different colors, different plants, different fibers. Every new food you introduce feeds a new part of your microbial community. Your gut is constantly talking to your blood vessels, your hormones, and your immune system. When that conversation becomes healthier, your blood pressure becomes healthier too. It's one of the most overlooked yet powerful ways to support your cardiovascular system from the inside out. Most people think sunlight only affects the skin or mood. But sunlight also has a direct influence on blood pressure through something beautifully simple: nitric oxide. This natural compound helps your blood vessels relax and open, allowing blood to flow more easily. When nitric oxide levels rise, blood pressure gently falls. Your body can make nitric oxide in several ways, through leafy greens, beets, movement, and even gut bacteria. But one of the most fascinating sources is your skin. When sunlight reaches your skin, it triggers the release of stored nitric oxide into your bloodstream. You don't need intense sunlight or long exposure. Even 10 to 15 minutes of soft morning light can create measurable changes inside your blood vessels. I once cared for a man named Daniel who worked long hours in an office with no windows. His diet was decent, and he exercised regularly, yet his blood pressure stayed just above target. During a conversation, he realized he rarely stepped outside except at night. We added a simple routine, 5 to 10 minutes of morning sunlight while drinking his coffee or taking a short walk. Within a month, his blood pressure shifted downward and stabilized. He felt more awake in the mornings, slept better at night, and his numbers finally began to improve. Sunlight does more than raise nitric oxide. It helps regulate your circadian rhythm, the internal clock that controls sleep. When morning light enters your eyes, even indirectly, it sends a message to your brain: the day has started. This anchors your sleep cycle, helping you fall asleep more easily at night. And as you already know, deeper sleep is one of the most powerful natural tools for lowering blood pressure. There's also a calming effect. Many people feel more relaxed when they step into natural light. Their breathing slows, their shoulders drop, their nervous system moves toward balance. And a calmer nervous system means more relaxed arteries. You don't need to sunbathe or take risks with your skin. Gentle, indirect morning light is enough. Stand near a window, walk outside for a few minutes, or simply step onto your balcony. The goal isn't tanning. It's signaling your cardiovascular system to relax and operate more efficiently. Your body is built to interact with light. And when you give it that natural cue each day, your blood vessels respond in a way that medication alone can't fully replicate. Sunlight is not a replacement for treatment, but it is one of the simplest, most overlooked habits that support healthy blood pressure, free, accessible, and surprisingly powerful. Sleep is not just rest. It is the time when your cardiovascular system repairs itself. While you sleep, your heart rate slows, your blood vessels relax, and your blood pressure naturally dips. This nightly dip is essential because it allows your arteries to recover from the strain of the day. Without it, your blood vessels stay tighter, your heart works harder, and your pressure remains elevated even when you're not moving. Many people underestimate how strongly sleep quality affects blood pressure. You can eat well, exercise, hydrate, and manage stress. But if your sleep is consistently poor, your numbers will often stay high. During deep sleep, your body reduces inflammation, repairs microscopic damage in blood vessels, restores hormonal balance, and resets your stress response. These processes work together like a reset button for your cardiovascular system. I once worked with a woman named Janet, 72 years old, who struggled for years to keep her blood pressure in range. We adjusted her medication multiple times, improved her diet, added gentle exercise, yet her pressure barely moved. Eventually, we looked closely at her sleep. She stayed up late watching TV, often dozed off on the couch, and frequently woke up in the middle of the night. We created a simple evening routine: screens off earlier, a warm herbal tea, a bit of stretching, and 10 minutes of slow breathing before bed. It wasn't dramatic, but the effect was. Within a few weeks, her sleep improved, and her blood pressure finally began to stabilize. For the first time in years, her morning readings fell into a healthier range. Healthy sleep doesn't require perfection, it just needs consistency. Going to bed and waking up at roughly the same time each day helps regulate your internal clock. Keeping your bedroom cool, dark, and quiet encourages deeper sleep. And easing into the evening with relaxing habits tells your nervous system it's safe to power down. It also helps to avoid heavy meals, alcohol, and late-night screen use, because each of these keeps your body in a semi-alert state when it should be preparing for deep rest. Even subtle changes, like dimming lights in the evening or stepping outside for a moment of fresh air, can send signals to your brain that nighttime has begun. Good sleep is one of the most powerful natural ways to support healthy blood pressure. It strengthens your heart, restores your vessels, and prepares your entire body for the next day. And the best part is that it doesn't require any special equipment. Just the willingness to create a routine that allows your body to do what it was built to do: repair, restore, and reset. High blood pressure does not appear in a single day. It slowly builds through repeated patterns that strain your cardiovascular system, like sitting too long, moving too little, carrying daily stress, sleeping poorly, not drinking enough water, or choosing foods that quietly increase inflammation. The encouraging truth is that these same patterns can be reversed just as gently. Every glass of water in the morning helps your heart start the day with less strain. Every short walk signals your blood vessels to stay flexible. Every balanced meal keeps your blood sugar steady. Every moment of calm breathing brings your nervous system back into balance. Supporting your minerals, caring for your gut, getting natural sunlight, and giving yourself deep, consistent sleep all work together to lower pressure and protect your heart, brain, and kidneys. Your cardiovascular system doesn't need perfection. It only needs steady, supportive habits that repeat day after day. And every day, no matter where you are starting, is a fresh chance to strengthen your health from the inside out. If this video helped you understand your blood pressure better, remember to like, share, and follow the channel so you never miss the upcoming health videos designed to keep you informed, supported, and feeling your best.